Hello everyone, welcome to the next C++ video. In the last episode we created our game window and also we made our presents fall down and then regenerate above the visible screen. In this episode we are going to add the player class and also make it move. Okay, so let's get started. So first, let's go to our player header. Next, I would like to include the SFML graphics library, as well as the gift header, and for now that should be enough. So let's declare the class player. This class will also extend the drawable class. Let's declare the public fields and the private fields. Well, we are going to need our draw method. Okay, next, let's define our constructor. We're going to need the health points of the player, the X and Y position, the bug texture, and the elf texture. Next, we will also need the speed and the velocity. And also, we need the move function, which is going to move our player around, and also the update function, as well as the boolean that checks if the present is inside the bug. So this will be the bug sprite and the elf sprite, as well as the score, HP, and the max HP. Okay, now that we have that, let's go to the player.cpp file. Let's include the player header. First, let's work on the constructor. Let's copy the arguments in the header. Let's pass them here. We will need an initialization list as well as the body. So inside the initialization list, we need the bug sprite. The elf sprite will be created using the elf texture. The velocity, the score will be set to 0 by default. The HP and the max HP, which will also be set to the HP provided here. Oops, the comma here. And for now, this should be enough. Okay, so if we check out the elf, it is 32 pixels high, while the bug is only 16 pixels high and 20 pixels wide. Now I would like those two sprites to overlap a bit, like around here. So we get that effect that the bug is on the back of the elf. So let's do just that. Oh, and also, before we go further, here let's define the scaling factor. Here is going to be set to 10. So 1 pixel in the textured PNG, in the output.png equals to 10 pixels on the screen. Okay, now inside the body, I would like to move the bug sprite to the X and Y plus 16 pixels times 10. Well, because the bug is 2 times shorter than the elf sprite. Now let's also move the elf sprite to the position. Next, let's, here I meant to use the scaling factor. Okay, next, bug s, let's scale, scaling factor, and scaling factor. Now let's set the texture rect of our elf. For default, I would like this part of our texture, which is 0, 1, 2. So start at X 2 times 16, Y 0. Next, the texture is 16 pixels wide and 48 pixels high. Let's also scale the elf, scaling factor and scaling factor. And let's move it a bit to the right. 32.f times scaling factor divided by 2 and 0.f. Now I will show that Now I will show why I made that in a bit. So next, let's define the draw function. The draw function will be quite simple. You just need well, copy the arguments from here, make it const, and just draw the two sprites. Target the draw, the bug sprite, and target the draw, elf sprite. So I'm going to define these two functions in a second. Let's draw our player on the screen. So the game.h, let's do hashtag include player h. Next, let's create the player field, player, and now we need to initialize our player. In game.cpp, we have to add it to the initialization list, maybe in a separate line, because the initialization will be quite long. So player, and we want the player to have 5 lives, be at position x0, and be at position height minus 32 pixels times the scaling factor. Let's also pass the bug texture and the elf texture. Okay, nice. And comma. Now in the game draw, let's draw our player. Let's see how this looks. Nice, we have our simple elf. But we can't move it around. So now let's implement the move and the update functions. So back to our player source file we go. First, I would like to work on the move function. This takes the x parameter, the y parameter, and also the max width. In this function, I'm going to simply move the bug sprite by x and y and the elf sprite by x and y. Nothing difficult here. In the update function, there will be a few caveats. In the delta time and also the max width, we're going to call the move function inside the update function. So move velocity times delta time y0, and let's also pass the max width. We'll use this parameter in a second. Okay, and now that we have that, let's go to the game.cpp, and we have to parse some user input. So if sf keyboard is key pressed, sf keyboard key a. And using this simple if statement, we can check if this key is pressed on the keyboard using SFML. Plus the player.velocity equals minus player.speed. So speed just tells us how fast the player will move, but velocity tells us how fast the player actually moves. Now, in another if statement, if the key is D, we'll set the velocity to positive player speed. Okay, let's see if that works. Oops. We also need to call player.update the delta time and the width of our game. Okay, now this should work. Let's go! The player moves! Nice. Okay, but, well, I would like to catch some presents. So next, we have the inBug function. So, in player.cpp, void player, inBug, const gift. Oh, sorry, not a void, but a boolean. Okay, nice. Next, we have to get the global bounds of the gift sprite, just like this. So gift_rect equals gift.giftSprite.get a global bounds. Next, let's also get the global bounds of our bag, just like this. I only want to get the global bounds of the bug and not the elf, because, well, elf is just kind of a decoration. Now we will return an expression that checks if the gift is inside this. So if so we will return gift rect dot position x greater than rect dot position x and gift rect dot position dot x plus gift rect dot size dot x smaller than the bug rect dot position dot x plus bug rect dot size dot x. Okay, and one more. Also have to check the y position. So gift rect dot position dot y should be greater than bug rect dot position dot y. Or actually, let's maybe also check if plus gift rect size dot y divided by 2. We want that, well, because the gift could be intersecting the bug a little bit, and that should already increase the player points. Okay, let's go back to the game.cpp. So now, for every gift in a given frame, let's check if this gift is inside the player bug. So player.inBug gift. Oops, not for if here. Next, we have two situations. If gift is of type call, I would like the player to lose some HP. And then I would like the incorrect game sound to be played. Game sounds dot repeated sound to play. I'm going to implement this function in a second. Else, let's do player dot increase score, and let's play the correct sound. Actually, not the defeated sound, the incorrect sound. Let's add an else here. And here we can also have two conditions. This gift could be a call or not. Or actually, well, if the gift is not a call, we want the player to also lose HP and to play the incorrect sound. And one more thing. And here, let's also restart our gift. Now we have to implement a few functions here. So let's go back to the player header. We need the get score, increase score, get HP, and lose HP. So with the source file we go again. The get score getter will be quite simple. It simply return the score, while the increase score is going to be a bit more complicated. Well, for now actually it won't be. But in the next episode we will also implement animations. When we increase the score, we want to set a different animation. But this will be done later. Let's also define the player get HP method and also lose HP. Once again, when the player loses HP, we're going to play an animation in the next episode. Now let's just do HP minus minus. Okay, nice. Now we have to update the HP text and the score text. Here we have to update the HP text, as well as here. Well, here we have to update score. Okay, let's see now what happens. Oops. Oh no, we lost some gifts. The score is not updating. Because here we set this to 0. We want to use the getter now, so player.get HP and also player.get score. Let's try again. Oops. Nice. But we can get negative lives, so we don't necessarily want that. And also I would like the player to move a little bit faster, because, well, this game is kinda hard. So I'm going to, in that if, also add one more if. Let's copy this. If the left shift key is pressed, I would like to set the player velocity to be negative player speed times 2, and else if the left shift key is not pressed, let's keep it normal. And here the same, but positive player speed. And else normal player speed. Nice, we are faster now. There's one more thing about the move function. If I press the key once, the player moves forever, and it also moves outside the screen. So to fix that, we need to add some friction and some wrapping. Okay, so in the update function, after we move the player, I would like to add some if statements. If the velocity is greater than 100 times delta time, please decrease the velocity by 100 times delta time. Else, if the velocity is smaller than minus 100.f times delta time, add 100 times delta time. Else, please set the velocity to 0. Okay, let's see how this looks. Now I press D once, and the player moves a bit and then slows down to 0. Nice. Okay, but what about the wrapping around the game screen? Well, let's do it in the move function. We will need the elf bounce and the bug bounce for this. So let's do just that. And now we need two if statements. If the bug bounce dot position x is greater than max width, that's why we needed this argument. Let's set the bug sprite position to be negative 32.f times scaling factor divided by 2.f. And also we need to keep the track of our y position initial, so let's create a field for that. Float y pause. Let's add it in the initialization list. Equals y. Okay. Now here, let's also plus 16.f times the scaling factor, because we will move the bug by this amount here at the start. You want to reset the position. And also let's set the position of the elf sprite. This would be 0, and this would be y pause. Else if the bug bounce dot position x plus bug bounce dot size x is smaller than 0, we want to set the bug position to max width minus 32.f times the scaling factor divided by 2 times. And here the y position, same as here. And let's also set the elf position. We want the elf to be at the max width position and the y pause position. Let's see how this looks. Nice. Okay, now I would like to handle the fact that we can get 0 health. So after the update function, I would like to, if player get HP equal to, or actually smaller or equal than 0, let's stop the background music. Let's say, and let's set the game running boolean to false. We also have to add it in our game header. So for example, here, bool game running. Let's initialize it true by default. Now, if the game is not running and the user pressed the R key, R for restart, we'd like to restart the whole game. Let's set the game running to true. Let's call player.start. We will create this function in a minute. Let's do update score and update HP. Restart every gift and play the background music again. And here we also need the width of the screen. Okay, now let's go back here to the draw function of our game. Now, if the game is not running, I would like to draw an overlay to make everything darker. Also, let's draw restart text. Okay, this overlay will be a SF rectangle shape. Let's add it into our class. And in the constructor, let's set the fill color to black, but we would like this to be a bit transparent. Set the origin to 0.0. Let's set the size to width and height. Okay. Maybe let's comment this out for now. And let's check if this works. Okay, but I can still play. Okay, so after this, I'd like to check if the game is not running. Let's just return. Don't do anything here. Oh, this should be at the start of our update function. Now let's add one more if statement. If the game is not running, let's just return. Let's see now. Okay, now I cannot move, and I can't do, well, anything. I can only press R. If I stop, well, nothing happens because the health is still under 0. So we need to implement this. To the header we go. This will be a simple void restart. Okay, so first let's set the HP back to max HP. Let's set the bug position to the starting position, 0.f and the white pause plus 16.f times the scaling factor. Let's also set the L starting position, 30.f times scaling factor divided by 5. The white pause here. Now let's set the score back to 0. Okay, let's see now. And I press R, and the bug broke for some reason. Oh, and here I wanted to divide this by 2. Nice. But this, I don't like the look of that. Let's add a final score message to the restart text. Well, first, let's define a method in the game header, update restart text. Now in the game source file, we have to find this. Update restart text. Restart text, let's set string. Game over. Press R to restart. Also, let's add final score, maybe in a new line. Standard to string player dot get score. Here, let's call restart text dot update restart text. Oh, sorry, not this, but just update restart text. Okay. And in the update function, let's also update that. Expected closing bracket. Oh, okay, this should fix the problem. Game over. Press R to restart. Final score 4. And now we don't need to display these two. So we only want to display them if the game is running. Okay. Oh no. Let's restart. Okay, nice. The game is basically playable, but it looks kind of bland. We don't have any animations. For example, I'll have to move maybe up and down, and also look in the left direction if he moves in the left, and well, look to the right if he moves to the right. But we are going to do that in the next episode. So, thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.